Hey, good morning. Brock here for Huntsville's Biggest Brownie. Joining us in studio, it's author Maggie Dunchurch. She's actually going to be at the Whitestone Public Library this December 17th from 10 till noon for the release of her two new books, Silver Buttons, which takes place in Whitestone, and then we also have Aware, which takes place in Huntsville. Without spoiling too much, because, we don't want to give away the whole book, and then,
Right.
Well, I know what happens. I don't know if you need to pick it up. But it does take place in Huntsville. So give us an idea what the book's about, and then maybe share with us why you chose Huntsville as the primary setting for Aware.
Well, it's about a high-profile journalist, Bevan Chalmers, and she wakes up in a hospital in Huntsville, not having any idea who she is. And she's got the police there, and she's under an investigation, and she's struggling to figure out who she is, why she's there, and what's happened to bring her to that point. And she's forced to rely on Detective Furyk, who she spent her whole career trying to destroy, which she doesn't recall. She has no idea what he had ever done to her until much later in the book.
Where does this come from? Just inside your own head, or is it?
Yeah,
You haven't had any experience with amnesia or anything like that?
No, I never know what a story's going to be about from sentence to sentence. I usually start out with the opening scene and the title, and I sit down and I write. And this one, it was so exciting. I remember because it was 9 chapters before I even stood up. And that's always a good sign.
You write it as a reader of the novel. That's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah. I never know what's going to happen.
So you're surprised by the ending.
I am. I have my suspicions all the way along, and I think that's why I write them as fast as I do, because I can't wait to see what happens.
I think. So how long did it take you to write Aware?
Aware was about 3 weeks. Every morning I'd get up around, 2 o'clock, 2:30, and write for a few hours before I would drive to the city for work.
So where do you live now?
Magnetowan.
Magnetowan.
Yeah.
Like the moonshine. You said, so Magnetowan, Huntsville is kind of the bigger townships.
Yes, it's more area. Like a city.
So you wanted it to be a location in Muskoka,
yes.
But you wanted it to be a notable location in Muskoka.
Right.
With a hospital.
Yeah.
Fantastic hospital at that.
It is.
Thank you to the folks at the HHF.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what their amnesia department is like, but I'm sure it's unforgettable. Details on all 33 of Maggie's novels, MaggieDunchurch.com. More with her coming up. It's a hit. Got author Maggie Dunchurch in studio. She's at the Whitestone Public Library tomorrow for the release of her 2 books, Aware and Silver Buttons. We talked about Aware, and now let's discuss Silver Buttons.
Silver Buttons is about a girl who receives new eyes. And she had been in the darkness for 15 years. And she learned to cope, and she loved her life in the dark, is what she called it. And then she gets the eyes. And with the eyes come the memories. So she was...
Of the past individual.
Right. So, yeah.
There's always a thought of that, right? When you're donating something as personal as the eyes, ears, nose.
Yeah, like that last image that she saw before she was attacked. So, yeah, and of course, it takes place in Whitestone, which is, Dunchurch. And what else can I say about it?
Keep your eyes out for it.
I like that.
MaggieDunchurch.com for more details. Maggie Dunchurch, she's at the Whitestone Public Library tomorrow, do a book signing. Also, she's got the release of her 2 new books, Silver Buttons and Aware. You've been doing this a while. What's the writing process like? Do you need a certain spot to write? Quiet, loud? What's that like?
Well, it used to be anywhere. I used to live with my laptop on my lap. It would be in the car with me. It'd be at work. On lunch, I'd run out to my car and sit there and write. And, it was constant. Now I write in one location, and it's at home in what I call the writing room, which is the back porch. I need to unplug, and the only thing I can hear in the writing room is the forest around me. And the best thing to hear is rain. There's something with the sound of rain that if it's raining, that I'm in that porch, and I'm probably writing 10, 12 hours that day.
You can meet up with Maggie at the Whitestone Public Library on the 17th, so that would be tomorrow. Or if you're not able to attend, you can visit her website, MaggieDunchurch.com. Maggie Dunchurch in studio. Before you go, I was hoping to get some writing advice from you. I figured you could offer us that. Is the best advice you can give someone just just start writing?
Yeah.
Like what?
Don't try and plan it out. So many times people come up and say, I've been trying to write this book and it's about this well, why are you writing about that? Well, I think it'll be a great story. Well, got to let the story write itself and don't force it. Because I do it the way that I do, I never have an outline. And I think for me, knowing what's going to happen is boring. Why write it?
That's Maggie Dunchurch. Find out more about her, maggiedunchurch.ca. Plus, you can check her out at the Whitestone Public Library this December 17th, 10 to noon. New release of her book, and I'm assuming you'll be there.
I
Signing
absolutely
books.
will.
I hope
Yes.
so.
Yes,
if
I'll be
anyone's
there.
going to be there, and hopefully she's on time, too. So
I'll
where's
be there.
Maggie? Is she around? She'll be here. Maggie, thanks so much for stopping by. Oh, before you go, you were nice enough to drop off some copies. Why don't you hand me over that book?
Onions.
Onions. Is it is it a tearjerker? Where's the
No.
onions? Where's that come from?
Onions came from, well, it started with the title. I was driving home from work and I was behind an onion truck and the wipers were going and all the shavings were going everywhere and I saw the opening scene. And I rushed in the house, ran up the stairs. This is back in the day before I even had a laptop. And I sat down at the computer and I started writing. And 5 days later, Onions was born.
We'll have a copy of Onions to give away later on the show. You can also find all of Maggie's books, including the 2 new releases this weekend, at maggiedunchurch.com.